It's known as the Blocks, an isolated cluster of bush properties in Western Queensland, where some choose to live off the grid and are known to be hostile to outsiders. It's here around 4:30 on a Monday afternoon where 4 young police officers meet for what is supposed to be a routine job. What happens next has been laid bare by a coronial inquest.
No officer, I think, wakes up and expects to go to work and be shot or shot at.
The body-worn camera of Constable Randall Kirk, played in court, shows the officers jumping the front gate. Their task is to find missing person Nathaniel Train, who's wanted for weapons offences. Constable Keely Brough is only 8 weeks on the job and introduces herself to a fellow officer from a neighbouring station.
Keely, Rachel, and Matt.
She's our newest first year.
Less than 2 minutes after entering the property, a gunshot is fired. And in an instant, a routine call-out turns into a deadly assault. When we next see Constable Kirk, he's crouched behind a tree. His radio isn't working, but he uses his mobile to call his supervisor in Chinchilla, half an hour away.
Hello. Hello?
Hey buddy, what's the rep we got?
He shot Rachel, I believe. I think she's dead. She shot him, I think. No, he's still walking. He's trying to walk around me.
Nearby lies the body of Constable Matthew Arnold, killed by the first gunshot. Soon after, the wounded Constable Rachel McCrow was executed at close range. Keely Brough has disappeared from sight. A few moments pass, then the killer advances to where Constable Kirk is hiding.
Mate, do they know where you are?
Yes, they do.
Mate, can you, obviously scramble from tree to tree to try and retreat out of there?
I'll try.
To try and do that?
I can try. Want me to do that?
He makes a run for it.
They're coming, they're shooting.
The other 2 officers.
He makes it to the police vehicle about 100 metres away, under heavy fire. The young officer is shot in the hip, but manages to flee the property.
You good? Lost the shoe. I've got blood on my face. I don't know where I've been shot.
When these incidents happen, it's not like on TV. I mean, it's a mad sense of overwhelming emotions of surprise, shock, fear. He was firing back with his Glock. Unfortunately, the offenders had rifles. It was an unfair firefight, that's what it was.
Constable Kirk may be out of danger, but his colleague Keely Brough remains hidden in scrubland, and she's being hunted. To draw her out, the assailants set a police car on fire. Around 10 minutes after the first gunshot, Constable Brough calls 000, telling the operator she thinks she will die as the flames lick her feet. About half an hour later, at a neighbouring property, Alan and Kerry Dare notice a plume of black smoke, and Kerry also calls 000.
We're hearing what we're thinking is gunshots, but now we've got an electrical burning. We're on acreage out in Wieambilla.
Do you think it might be 251?
251, yeah, we need a fire, please, now.
I have police at 251.
My husband's going to pick the neighbour up and they're going to investigate closer.
I probably wouldn't. I'd probably just stay at home. I know this might sound bad, but I'm trying to get more information as to, what's going on.
The operator again tells Kerry that her husband should stay put, but by then he and his friend Victor Lewis have already left, Alan filming on his phone. Operator Emma Donald will later tell the coroner she saw a notification on her computer that police were in trouble at the property, but did not click on it.
At that time, I didn't know if it was related or not. We'd been told in our training that if we look into a job that isn't related, we'd most likely get in trouble for it, because it's technically snooping.
But Alan doesn't know any of this, and he's already at the property.
Ooh, the hell is in that?
Then another gunshot, and Alan is dead.
When I rolled him over, I saw blood on his back, and having been a person who'd been around weapons all my life, I realised he'd been shot. And not knowing what was going on, it was time to leave there, get away from there.
Just after 6:30 p.m, a team of police helped Constable Bruff run to safety. She'd been hiding for 2 hours. Around 8 p.m, a special emergency response team arrives. They try and fail to negotiate with the 3 shooters. One of them fires at the police helicopter. Ultimately, by 10:40 p.m, all 3 have been fatally shot by police.
What we couldn't piece together was it was a missing person report. Why would that result in the shooting of multiple officers and the killing of them? You know, it was just difficult to try and extrapolate out how you could get this result from that kind of job.
The perpetrators were identified as Gareth Train, his wife Stacey Train, and brother Nathaniel Train. In the aftermath of the shooting, police conducted a drive-through of the property. On each side of the driveway were 3 hides, from which Gareth and Nathaniel had opened fire on the young officers. Closer to the house, mirrors lined the driveway, and inside was a cache of weapons, ammunition, tactical gear and cardboard for target practice. Terry Goldsworthy was a police officer in Queensland for almost 30 years.
There'll be a number of questions the coroner will seek to answer, and one of those is, how are they so readily prepared?
Another key question, how much did police know about the Trains prior to the attack? And how much was passed on to the 4 attending officers?
What was the briefing they got before they were tasked the job? Who tasked them the job? What were they told when they were tasked? Going to be crucial questions.
In the coming weeks, the inquest will look at the motivation of the Trains. Nathaniel and Stacey Train were both successful teachers before quitting their jobs due to COVID vaccine mandates. Dozens of witnesses will retrace the trio's bizarre descent into a world of conspiracy theories that would culminate with Australia's first Christian fundamentalist terror attack.
Nobody in my lifetime had ever experienced a pandemic. The stressors that introduced, the strains that created for many people led to the adoption of extremist explanatory frameworks by people who under other circumstances probably never would have gone near an extremist narrative or an extremist explanation for what they were seeing happen around them.
Professor Michelle Grossman is an expert in violent extremism. She says the inquest will likely look at the limited options available to those who want to report concerning behaviour.
We really only have one system, and that's the National Security Hotline. For early intervention purposes, most people, especially those who are close to somebody, will not contact the National Security Hotline.
On the first day of hearings, Judy McCrow addressed the media for the first time since her daughter's death.
While the terrible void in our lives will never be filled, we hope any reforms put forward by the coroner will prevent a tragedy like this happening again and other families experiencing our heartbreak.